From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Daryl Clark. Stephanie Woodard has the evening off. Our top story, the amount of the 2015 Alaska Permanent Fund dividend is $2,072. State officials had 7th grade student Shania Summer announce the amount today. The payout is set for October 1st, and it is larger than last year's $1,884 check. Governor Bill Walker talked about the irony of this being the largest PFD payout while the state is facing serious financial problems. Low oil prices have plunged Alaska into a crippling budget deficit, but it didn't affect the size of the payout.
It's the first time in Alaska's history that the earnings from the Permanent Fund have exceeded the earnings from oil, and that's a first as well. This will be the highest payout. This payout will be higher than than the cost of education in Alaska from K through 12. It really has. So we're in a bit of a dilemma this year, given that with the price of oil, half our income went away, and we're in about a $3 billion deficit. So this year we'll be looking at ways of balancing the budget.
A Fairbanks man accused of possessing and distributing child porn is facing federal charges. Michael Gray Jr. was arrested this morning after being indicted by a federal grand jury on charges of sexual exploitation of a minor and possession of child pornography. Gray allegedly attempted to distribute visual depictions of minors engaging in sexual acts in June of this year. He is also charged with possessing, mailing, or shipping such depictions earlier this month. Gray faces anywhere from 5 years to life in prison and a $250,000 fine if convicted. He is being held without bail at Fairbanks Correctional Center, and his trial is set for November. Students inside of Lathrop High School were placed in a sit-tight mode early this afternoon. It was reportedly initiated at 11:15 a.m. after an altercation involving what authorities described as, quote, multiple students. Officials with the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District said the incident lasted roughly 1 hour but had little detail to release. Police said there were no reports of weapons involved, but one minor was taken into custody. Jury selection began this morning for a man accused of rape. 59-year-old Charles B. Henry is facing a single count of sexual assault in the first degree. According to an affidavit, Henry allegedly assaulted the victim in October of 2012 in Fairbanks. Not much detail has been given about the alleged rape. Court documents do say Henry recklessly abused the victim without consent. Now, once a jury is selected, trial will begin in Fairbanks Superior Court. Trial has been scheduled for a man accused of attempted murder. 38-year-old Benjamin McMurray of Tok has been in custody at Fairbanks Correctional Center, charged with 2 counts of attempted murder, felony assault, and 9 other counts. According to a trooper release this June, McMurray attempted to shoot another person while driving in Tok. Troopers reported McMurray chased the unidentified victim and fired multiple shots into the car. The victim reportedly fired back at McMurray and was able to get away. McMurray, who had been shot in the arm and treated at a clinic in Tok, was later taken into custody and charged. Trial for his case will be held in Tok in December. And when we come back, hundreds flocked to Eielson Air Force Base Saturday for the first open house in 3 years. Our cameras were there to capture the event. Also, someone stole a handicap wheelchair ramp from a Fairbanks resident, but local concerned citizens rallied to her aid. Those stories and more when we return. Stay with us. And welcome back. Eielson Air Force Base opened its gates to the public for the first time in 3 years. The event was met with a good turnout from the public. Hundreds of people were in attendance at the Eielson Open House on Saturday. The event was hosted to thank the people of the interior for their support of the Air Force. Several displays featured current jets and equipment in use at Eielson, along with vintage aircraft from World War II and helicopters from the Army. People got to meet and greet with the airmen of the 354th Fighter Wing and the 168th Air Refueling Wing. A bazaar was also in full effect inside the Eielson Thunderdome. Several businesses from the interior partnered up with the Eielson Enlisted Spouses Club to organize the mini market. No matter who we spoke with, Air Force or civilian, the open house was a big hit.
The open house is pretty much a showcase for all civilians and family members to come by to take a look at what we do on a day-to-day basis. As far as like maintenance, showing off what the F-16 has to offer and whatnot, as far as like its weaponry system, its engine compartments.
My favorite airplane right now is the C-17 because of how big it is. It's really cool that you get to go in and look around and the crew questions and they'll answer them.
The Denali National Park and Preserve opened its road to lottery winners and members of the military this past weekend as part of the Fall Road Lottery. Upwards of 400 vehicles per day over a 4-day period were granted entrance to the park. The 5th day was dedicated as Military Appreciation Day. Each occupant of that vehicle paid a $10 entrance fee and were free to ride to the end of the road at mile 92.5. Several closures due to winter-like conditions occurred. However, the entire road was open through most of the lottery period. While Denali itself was hidden throughout most of the lottery, wildlife was abundant. Lottery winners were treated to trotting bull moose, posing mountain goats and Dall sheep, as well as foraging brown bears preparing for hibernation. You can register for the 2016 lottery between May 1st and 31st of next year. Well, a woman who has lived in Fairbanks most of her life says an incident over the weekend proves that it really is the Golden Heart City. Monty Bowen has the story.
It was a classic case of helping out your neighbor Saturday when some workers showed up to help a woman who was confined to a wheelchair.
Even though the curb looks little, when you have a wheelchair, it's just absolutely impossible to take a 300-pound wheelchair and my weight, which I won't discuss, and take it off of here.
Donna Baum lives in a South Fairbanks apartment and had a handicap ramp for the wheelchair to get from the gravel parking lot onto the sidewalk.
2 days ago, mine was stolen.
She went to social media asking people to let her know if anyone saw her ramp. Chad Wilson of Wilson & Wilson Construction heard about it.
My wife told me about it. It was on Facebook, and I told my foreman Zakai and one of my guys Tyson, and we just figured, well, let's go out there and help someone out.
One of the workers said they got first-hand knowledge of what Baum was up against with the wheelchair.
So far, we've lifted her and her wheelchair off of that ledge twice just to get an idea of what it's like for her. I mean, it looks like nothing, but her wheelchair can't go over it. And then she's stuck. That's the size of her world without that ramp.
All three of the workers expressed disbelief that someone would steal a handicap ramp.
I'm just really happy to help this lady. I can't believe somebody stole her ramp. It's pretty unbelievable. But she's going to have a new one when we're done, and it's not going to go anywhere, hopefully.
To see fellow Fairbanksans come out and help somebody and not charge is really the way Fairbanks used to be all the time. And I really hope the person who has my ramp really needed it. All right, here we go.
This is Monty Bowen reporting.
Well done indeed. All right, Joe Cook is up next with a weekend recap in local sports. Find out where the Nanook hockey team is ranked in the WCHA preseason polls. Also, the Ice Dogs are on fire. Find out how they did this weekend. All that and more with Joe after the break.
Welcome back, Interior Sports fans. Joe Cook here with a local recap in local sports. But first, news today from the WCHA. They released their preseason polls and preseason all WCHA teams. On the first day of official practice for the Nanooks, Alaska was picked to finish 5th this season, which has been more or less their preseason rank the past couple of years. At the end of last season, Alaska was the hottest team in the nation, closing the year on an 8-game unbeaten streak. Senior forward Tyler Morley was picked as the WCHA's co-player of the year, along with Bryce Gervais of Minnesota State. Morley was 3rd in the conference in scoring with 32 points last season. We'll have more on Alaska hockey in Tuesday's Nanook Corner. And despite a pretty good service game and edging their opponent on defense, the Alaska Nanook volleyball team lost on Saturday. The Western Oregon Wolves got the sweep 25-22, 25-22, 25-19. Sam Hartoon posted 11 kills. She has 1,209 career kills and is just 5 kills away from second all-time in program history. Miranda Greaser notched her second double-double in 3 matches with 26 assists and 13 digs. Hopefully home court will help Alaska this week. They host rival UAA this Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on Alaska Airlines court. Check out Julia Mackey in her last game for the Seawolves in Fairbanks. The Seawolves are 10-0, their best start in program history, and they are ranked 11th in the country for a program best ranking. The Fairbanks Ice Dogs are off to a hot start for the 2015-2016 season. Saturday night, they swept the Robinson Cup champion Minnesota Wilderness with a 5-1 victory in Game 2. It was tied 1-all in the third period until the Ice Dogs scored 4 unanswered goals. Logan Coombs got his first career hat trick for the Ice Dogs. Reiner Gorowski was the playmaker with 3 assists, and C.J. Booth made 28 saves with 1 goal allowed in his debut for Fairbanks. The Ice Dogs outscored the Wilderness 11-3 in the series. Fairbanks will go into this week's NAHL Showcase with a 4-0 record. Saturday night, the bowl season came a little bit early for football. Lathrop and North Pole collided in Saturday night's Mayor's Bowl. This is one of the interior rivalries people love to see. It was 7-6 in the first quarter. As Stu Rogers, he found Marshall Chase for a 72-yard touchdown to bring the Patriots within 1. After that score from R.J. Henry, Lathrop led 13-6 at the half. In the second half, the Malamutes outscored the Patriots 20-7. The Maiden brothers and Lathrop defense took over. Darius Maiden ran for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns in the win. 147 of those rushing yards were in the second half as he broke for a 77-yard run there. Glenn Maiden Jr. generated over 300 yards of offense and 2 touchdown passes. Both went to R.J. Henry. Lathrop will go on to win 33-12 for back-to-back Mayor's Cup victories.
We talked about our miscues at halftime and what we need to do to get the bigger plays, and we just came out and executed. The game made me nervous, but as I kept playing, I just got comfortable with my team, and we just did what we had to do in practice and showed out on the field. We came out here, as seniors and a family. We said this is our last time all playing together against North Pole, and we said we just wasn't going to lose.
And here are the Alaska Sports Broadcasting Network's polls for Week 6. In the large schools polled, Bartlett is number 1, followed by Chugach, West Anchorage, and Colony and Diamond. West Valley Wolfpack hosts number 1 Bartlett this weekend. Former West Valley coach Daniel Esperanza makes his return to the interior. In the medium and small schools poll, So High is number 1 at 6-0. Lathrop will get a crack at So High, the last undefeated team in the state this week. Allison is back at number 2. They host Houston this week. Kenai comes in at 3 with North Pole at number 4. The Patriots will face the Kenai Cardinals at home this week. Nikiski, they round out the top 5. And we close out the weekend recap with the recap of the best plays. Here's the I-5 interior top 5 plays for this week. Coming in at number 5, West Valley's Brianna Slater and Stella Knox display teamwork as Slater lays out for the dig and Knox finishes the play with a well-timed hit for a kill as the Wolfpack sweep North Pole on Thursday. Number 4, Allison's Andrew North sheds 2 tacklers as he sprints down the sideline for a 64-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter as Allison defeats rival Nikiski 34-7 on Saturday. Number 3, Olivia Shellican scores the game-winning touchdown for the Wolfpack using the B button for the spin move along the way to a 27-yard scoring run as West Valley wins 6-0 at North Pole on Wednesday. More flag football at number 2. Lathrop's Zadie Bell Sanchez shows off the speed, quickness, and the moves as she shakes multiple defenders and reverses field for a score as Lathrop shuts out Hutchison 24-0 on Thursday. Number 1, Garius Maiden's 77-yard run, which was part of his 210 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns against North Pole in the Mayor's Bowl. Maiden had 147 of those yards in the second half as Lathrop wins consecutive Mayor Bowls with a 33-12 victory over the North Pole Patriots on Saturday night. To vote for the play of the week, click on your favorite play on the I-5 poll on webcenter11.com. You can also comment on the KTVF Facebook and YouTube posts and at KTVF11 Sports on Twitter for your vote. The play of the week will be revealed this Friday.
The I-5 Sports Report is brought to you by Adient Orthopedic Physical Therapy.
And that's it for sports tonight. Mike Schultz is up next with your forward the forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back into our Monday night edition of the Fbx Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again, taking a look at the weather, and I hope you had yourself a good weekend. Weather-wise, it was chilly to say the least. Cloudy skies, a few sprinkles here and there, but no snow in the forecast. And the leaves are continuing to turn, as is witnessed by this beautiful photograph here sent in by Alvin Ott. Look at the colors on that. Gorgeous reds and oranges, and that's just a beautiful shot. And as always, if you have a photograph to share with us, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. Beautiful, colorful. That's great. Here's your numbers for today. Today's high 40, the low last night 34. The record high 78 in 1995, but in 1910, 12 degrees for the overnight record low. Your sunrise and sunset about 12 hours and 25 minutes, a loss of 6 minutes from yesterday. On the satellite and radar, you can see a little bit of an area of low pressure still moving across southeast Alaska. But not too much going on across the southern sections of the state and nothing across the interior, just a few very isolated light snow or rain shower activity going on. That is going to continue. There's no real major weather pattern change in the forecast. And as far as what's going on across the rest of the state, well, it is raining over southeast Alaska, Ketchikan and Juneau, 51 and 47 degrees. Anchorage, not too bad, 53, partly cloudy skies. Kodiak at 46 and sunshine. Partly cloudy skies around the Cold Bay area, 46, and up and down the west coast. A little chilly around Nome, 39 degrees, 41 at Bethel. And then across the Brooks Range into the Barrow area, 27 degrees there for the high. Fort Yukon, 36, and partly cloudy skies. Lower 48 weather. Not too bad in Seattle, 65 degrees there, just a few scattered clouds. Same over Southern California. Las Vegas and Phoenix, once again, 99 and 90 degrees there. Dallas, Fort Worth, partly cloudy at 95. Not too bad in Minneapolis, 81 degrees. Another hot day in Denver, though, 89. And up and down the eastern half of the state, so we see temperatures much cooler than they were last week. In the low 70s, just partly cloudy skies, a few showers here and there. On the satellite and radar, once again, you can see a little bit of a frontal boundary moving rapidly toward the Atlantic Ocean. That is taking all that shower activity out. But the big news is all the moisture moving in across southwest and southern California, bringing with it heavy rainfall. Some of it could be torrential, causing widespread flooding. In fact, you can see here, heavy rain and thunderstorms expected over much of the area tomorrow. That is going to continue for the next couple of days or so, all tropical moisture being in by the southwest flow. The jet stream, once again, as you can see, way up to the north, helping to bring all the warm air once again back into a large portion of the country, and that doesn't show much signs of change. Okay, let's take a look at our kids' weather for today. Starting off a new week, and we're going to be starting with our kids from, well, they're going to be coming from Badger Road Elementary School. Here's a young man with a cool story.
One year, me and my whole family went down to Trapper Creek to visit my aunt's dad. And when we got there, his house was almost buried in snow. He has a big hill by his house, and he had a trail up the hill. Me and my sister took our sleds to the top of the hill, and we had a race down. I won.
Good job. And again, thanks to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather, and thanks for their service to the interior. Tomorrow night, we'll have a young lady here to share a picture. Okay, what's going on across the rest of the state for tomorrow? Well, for the northern sections, I just think mostly cloudy skies at Barrow, partly cloudy skies in Nome, and snow showers for Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, a little bit of shower activity around the Healy and Delta Junction areas, mixed rain and snow shower activity, but nothing here in the Fairbanks region. Over southeast Alaska, cloudy skies at Juneau, showers are likely for Ketchikan. While over to the southwest part of the state, we're looking at rain for Cold Bay, partly cloudy skies at Bethel, but mostly sunny skies in Kodiak. And down around the Anchorage Bowl, pretty good weather, mostly sunny skies for Anchorage, windy in Valdez, and sunny skies at Homer. And our forecast for the remainder of the night, looking at cloudy skies with cooler temperatures, 30 degrees the overnight low. Tomorrow's forecast, 40 degrees for the high, continue cloudy, just an outside chance of a light shower here or there. But the forecast does show a little bit of change of rain and snow shower activity moving into the picture for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And temperatures, once again, as you can see, in the low 40s, with overnight lows dropping down to the 20s again. We were talking about this last week, 26 degrees by Wednesday night, and then leveling out at 30, and also looking at, like I said, a possibility of maybe some of that mixed rain and snow for the weekend.
Termination dust and football still going on over the weekend. Those are always the funnest games, actually, playing in snow. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it'd be cool to get a snow. It would be cool to get a snow game before the year is out, actually.
Yeah, it used to be back in the day with those hard rubber cleats that they would actually be almost like ice skates out there in the field. So, but yeah, it's got to be the right conditions.
It'll just be in the air, it won't be on the ground.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Very good. All right, thanks, Mike. That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Well, tonight on NBC Nightly News, the presidential candidate, Governor Scott Walker, has decided to drop out of the race for president for 2016. That's up next with Lester Holt.
You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
Okay, from all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.
Good night.